Hi everyone, my name is Sarah, and as Caroline just told you, I'll be taking you through the cooking demonstration today. Last week I talked to you guys about the importance of naturally sourcing vitamins through your diet, and we wanted to follow up with this lesson today. So what we'll be talking about today is how to make soups, stews, and chili in under an hour using fresh, frozen, and canned ingredients. My favorite part about making soup is knowing after a long day of class I'll have something warm and healthy to eat that I only cooked for a relatively low cost. Personally, when I make soup, stew, or chili, I like to make a double batch and put the other half in the freezer. And I like to make my soups or stews or chilies vegetarian, but you can still freeze them even if they're not vegetarian. So one day or on a week, you can eat it over a week's period. When you don't have time or don't feel like cooking, you can take that out of the freezer and that'll be good for a couple days. This is a great way to practice thanking yourself later. So far I've been talking a lot about soups, stews, and chilies, but I haven't told you what we're gonna make. So I promise we're gonna get started with the delicious and nutritious food that we are going to be making today. So just hold on one more minute. Today we'll be making red lentil, spinach, and carrot soup. Has anyone ever had lentils before?
I have.
Oh, that's awesome, Ina. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
So lentils are a legume. You can get some of the B vitamins we learned about last week in legumes. Carrots and spinach have a bunch of different vitamins and minerals, including B6, A, and K. Enough talking about this very healthy soup. Let's get to cooking. I will be heating things up in the front, over there, and ask that everyone do the chopping for me. Does this sound like a fair trade?
It sure does.
As you just saw, we are not working with a long list of ingredients today. For the soup, we will be mincing garlic and dicing an onion. The lentils come in a can, as do the carrots. Right here. You can look at them if you want. And the only fresh produce needed is the garlic and the onion, but we're using frozen spinach and those cans right there for everything else. And the soup called for all fresh ingredients, but as you can see, it's super easy to substitute. And we also are going to use parsley, which is dried. You could use fresh parsley that you could find at most supermarkets, but dried is just another way to adapt the recipe for more shelf-stable ingredients. So fresh, frozen, or canned, you might be wondering what's the difference in vitamin content, because that was our lesson last week. So the vitamin levels are all around the same amount, so you do not need to worry about getting fresh produce all the time if this is not accessible for you because of time or cost or any other factor that may be impeding your life.
Okay.
We are going to start with the chopping, so we have all the ingredients ready when we need to add them in the soup. So it only takes about 20 minutes to make, depending on your speed in the kitchen, which I always encourage anyone to go as slow as you need to, because there's really no rush, and I personally like to take my time in the kitchen, which is why I usually end up eating frozen meals, because I like to buffer that time in. But do not worry, we have plenty of time to make our soup today. And when it comes to the chopping, it's best to stand up when you're using your knife, but if you don't feel like that today, don't worry about it. Just do what your body is telling you feels right today. All right, first up is the minced garlic. Everyone has already found their place at their seats with their cutting board. Thank you so much for being a great audience and making my job simple. So I'm going to be passing around your knives and your garlic cloves. Make sure to grab them by the handle. And do not start until I begin and describe what we're going to be doing. Steve, if you wouldn't mind putting your knife down. Thank you. So it looks like everyone's got a garlic clove, and as you can see, we've already peeled them off for you, so you should have this nice, fleshy, sticky garlic clove. So in order to mince a garlic clove, first what you have to do is get your knife skills down, and what we're going to do first is the pinch and claw method. So first with the pinch and claw, you're going to want to take your middle, your ring, and your pinky around the handle of the knife like this, and put the remaining fingers in a pinch formation like this. So I'm going to hold it out and rotate it so you both can see. And then in just a second, I'll ask you to demonstrate this for me. Thank you for being a great audience, Ina and Jeffrey. So could you show me your pinch, please? So I see, Meryl, you got it. Great. Okay, Steve, do you mind putting your fingers on the blade, the top of the blade? Away
yes.
from, yes. Okay, you both got it. Great. So far, we've only been doing half of the pinch and claw method, and we're going to demonstrate the claw part. So with the garlic clove, it's a little more difficult because, as you can see, it's not much surface area, but we're going to put our claw, our fingers flat and down like this, so that if the knife were to come in contact with it, it would be straight down and the fingers would not be cut off, which was not what we want. Before we can get to slicing the garlic, we're going to smash it. So we're gonna take our dominant hand and put it flat on the garlic. On the knife. It says smash the garlic, and you're going to hear that sound. So now we have a smashed garlic, and we can go back in with our pinch and claw and start making slices. Does everyone see what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then from your slices, well, if you need to wipe off, make sure it's on the cutting board and swipe down. Collect it in the middle and just rock back and forth with the knife, never leaving the cutting board until it's tiny pieces of garlic, and you'll get your mince. If everyone feels ready, then just go ahead and start mincing. I'll walk around to make sure everyone's technique is okay and they're doing it right. So as you may have noticed, my teammates started boiling some water, and that'll be the basis for our soup. So next, what we want to do is heat the olive oil in the medium saucepan that we have soup pan, my bad, that we have right here. And we're going to put our onions in there and let them heat until they are translucent, and that means see-through. And once our onions reach translucency, we are going to add our carrots and our garlic. So let me look for those. Okay, here we go. Got a can opener. There we go. And the garlic. Okay, here we go. We have that. And you can start mixing that around a little bit, and you can season as you like. We know different people have different dietary needs, so if you want to keep it low sodium or you just don't prefer spices, then that's up to you. So next, once we have the vegetables cooking for about a few minutes, we're going to add our few cups of water. It is 4 cups of water to the boiling kettle. So just measure that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave that back there. And also we're going to add the lentils. So my teammates have drained and rinsed these. So we'll put those in as well. And we have our vegetable stock cube. We're going to add that. And these are low sodium vegetable stock cubes, just to be sure. And now that was it. We're just going to put our lid on it, grab that over here, and heat on a low simmer for 15 minutes. And during those 15 minutes, we're going to go over last week's lessons, so we're sure we're current on all our how we can get vitamins from our diet. Our timer went off, and let's check our soup. Oh, that looks delicious. I can't wait for everyone to try it. Are you excited, Ina and Jeffrey?
Yes,
I sure am.
So we're just going to mix this and put a little bit of our dried parsley just for taste. And let me go get some bowls. seems like everyone's finishing their first bowl of soup, and that means we can begin our discussion and reflection portion of the lesson. If you would like more soup, please notify one of our other teammates, and we have enough for seconds for everyone, so do not hold back. Before I begin asking some questions, I want to share some thoughts. While I personally will be definitely going back for seconds, I know that not everyone may have enjoyed the soup as much as me, and that's perfectly okay. We're not offended. We know that soups, stews, and chilies are very versatile, and you can make them however you see fit, which is the great thing about them. You can swap out produce, the herbs and spices, and lastly, make it as meat lovers or as vegetarian as you want. So today is an example of the foundation for countless other warm meals that you can make in your own kitchen with just a few ingredients for low cost and with minimal fresh produce involved. So best of all, these recipes last in your fridge or in your freezer for as long as you don't eat them. So first off, who enjoyed the soup? And if you didn't, how would you change it to make it more tasty to you?
I really liked the soup. I thought adding spinach was a good way to have some greens and some vegetables that I wouldn't have thought of. And I was surprised that the lentils were so filling. I didn't feel like I needed noodles or any other kind of stuff.
That's a great answer, Ina. Thank you for contributing.
Thank you.
And I agree. Adding spinach or kale to your foods is a great way to sneak in some greens without putting in a lot of effort. Steve, would you like to contribute?
Personally, I thought it tastes good, but I need something more filling than just a vegetable-based soup. So I would prefer more meat, say a chicken tortilla soup or a chili, meat chili.
I understand that too. So next, is this something that you found complicated or you would definitely recreate in your own kitchen at home?
I definitely liked what I learned here in the class, and I could definitely see myself starting to cook more like this, especially when you said it could be in my fridge or my freezer. I love that idea.
This made me realize that meat doesn't have to be what fills you up. In your soups or stews, I had a bowl and a half, and now I don't have to worry about dinner.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I really appreciate that. And Ina. All right, guys, last question. So, what was your favorite part of class today?
I really like the nutrition lesson about the simple soups, stews, and chilies. I definitely think I would start to try more frozen things and canned goods because I didn't realize that they all had the same nutrition levels pretty much as the fresh, so something easier for me to have at home.
Thank you for sharing that, Ina. A lot of people don't realize that fact, and they also think it's a myth, but, we're mythbusters sometimes, us nutrition students, and I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly agree with my lovely wife, Ina. The visuals and handouts you girls gave out will be good references for later, so thank you.
You're welcome, Jeffrey. I'm glad you enjoyed that part of the lesson as well. Thank you both for being a great audience.